I was like, what? There's such a thing? There's a fish vet?
Yes.
Walk me through a visit for somebody for the first time. What is it we're looking at? This is his beating heart?
That's where, it's really nice to be able to be a mobile veterinarian and be able to bring the vet to the fish instead of the other way around.
It's like one of these things that pops in my head that people go like, you're such a crazy idiot. Do you eat sushi? We're coming up on the anniversary of the Altadena and Palisades fires that happened in California.
Yeah.
How did that affect koi fish? The immortal jellyfish. So I'll describe it. There's a species of jellyfish that can actually reverse its aging process.
I think the one that I know for sure the price, it was like $33,000.
Oh my God. Well, hello there. I'm Kurt Knudsen, the CyberGuy, known as Kurt the CyberGuy on TV. Welcome to Beyond Connected, my podcast, and make sure if you haven't already to take a moment to subscribe to my newsletter. It's at cyberguy.com/subscribe. A lot of people get it, and the reason they do is it gives you instant alerts to privacy and security issues that are going on. I post a whole lot of really good tips to everyday life with technology, including iPhone tips. And frankly, it's a work of art, and you should get it, and it's free. Today in the podcast, we're going to talk with Dr. Christina Dover. She's the owner of Aquatic Pet Services. And you wonder, what does technology have to do with a vet? Well, a lot, as it turns out. She's going to take us into her world that is absolutely incredibly amazing. And inside that world, she's going to show us how she uses this advanced technology to diagnose and treat aquatic animals, fish. Really, truly, there is such a thing as a fish vet, and you're going to meet her. And it boggles your mind. Trust me. But first, I want to talk about a really interesting new development that's been going on. You're aware of this. I'm aware of this. It's AI. And it's a lot of this sort of superintelligence that AI can represent. And that is really, when we talk about superintelligence, we talk about that idea that AI can get a lot smarter than people, right? So this organization called the Future of Life, it's an institute, put together this initiative that is backed by literally hundreds of real big name people, educators, Nobel Peace Prize winners. We're talking about one of the founders of Apple is on the list. Steve Bannon, of all people, has signed this. And we have people from faith, science, politics, in the arts. And they've all put their name down on a document that says, we're heading in the absolute wrong direction, and there's got to be a better way. There's got to be something we can do related to superintelligence and AI so that it doesn't get the better of us. Superintelligence is on its way to, yes, do what science fiction predicts, kill us all. There's no doubt about it. We have no off button at this moment. Don't you think it should be a discussion at least just to say, hey, maybe an off button could be agreed upon by so many people that we have this ability to just one day, when we see how powerful this is and we see that it's actually coming at us, we can say off, no thank you. When a lot of people put their name to a document from all different diverse backgrounds, but you have some real notable people, it's worth you thinking about, and it's worth you getting involved in that discussion. So I thought I'd share it with you. Now I want to share with you, honestly, this incredible conversation with Dr. Dover. All right, there are 5 things that I really love. Number 1, technology. Number 2, travel. Number 3, my family. Not in that order. Number 4, Lily. Love our Vishlas. And then a lot of people don't know what the 5th thing is that I really love. And that is my koi fish. Yes, I pride myself in being a new koi keeper. And that is exactly how I met our next guest. Dr. Christina Dover joins us. Thank you very much for coming into the podcast studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Explain how we know each other.
Okay, so you called my office, I think, a month ago or something like that, and you had a problem with your fish. And I'm a veterinarian who specializes in treating fish, especially koi fish.
Which is, when I heard this, somebody said, you've got to call Dr. Dover. She's the she's a board certified or she's a koi vet. I was like, what? There's such a thing? There's a fish vet?
Yes.
How in the world did you get going down on that course? And by the way, it is amazing what I watch you do. And then that it's even accessible to people is incredible. How in the world did you get involved in this?
Yeah, so that journey probably began when I was an undergraduate at UC Santa Barbara. They have a little campus aquarium there that's called the Reef. It stands for the Research Experience and Education Facility. I worked there for all 4 years, and part of my job was to be a docent and do like education and outreach. And then the other half of the job, which I really enjoyed, was taking care of the sharks and the rays in particular. And so kind of after I graduated, I kind of narrowed down that what I really enjoyed the most and what I wanted to get into was like medicine for fish. And I did not make the immediate connection that meant I'd have to become a veterinarian. So I ended up Googling just like, I think like fish medicine job, and some random aquatic veterinarian popped up. And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess next step is like go to vet school. So that's kind of what started me on that journey.
Wow. And then how long have you been practicing as a fish vet?
So I am a pandemic graduate. I graduated in 2020, and then I started the fish business in 2021. So it's been like 4 years now. So yeah.
Okay. And so we name all our fish, and you really just saved Jerome's life, which is like the coolest fish you've ever met in your life. Mm-hmm. We think so anyway. You just came in here, and I mean, we shot video of this, and I saw you come in here and went, holy crap, she's brought the laboratory with her. Tell me what we're looking at. You have a microscope, you have a handheld ultrasound where you can look inside the fish. You could tell us immediately what was wrong with the water in our tank. You could also look and see what was going on the surface of the fish, inside the fish, and then you did a deep dive and tested this stuff and sent me a full report later. Tell me, explain, like, walk me through a visit for somebody for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So every visit kind of starts the same, which is getting to know the owner and the pond and the fish, because with veterinary medicine, kind of regardless of what species you're treating, they can't tell you what's wrong with them. So you're really relying on the owner and kind of what they might know about the situation. And then especially for any fish, like the husbandry that they're providing, the diet, what are they doing for their maintenance routine? That's all very important. So the first part of the visit is always taking like a good history. So I spend a lot of time on that because, it really helps me kind of figure out what direction I need to go with the appointment. The next part of it is pretty much always the same. I get a baseline water quality test for the pond to kind of see where we're at. So I test a lot of things like the pH, the ammonia, nitrite, dissolved oxygen, salt levels. If there's anything extra that I think we need to test for, we can always send out tests, or, I have some other test kits and that sort of stuff. But it's a pretty comprehensive water quality panel. And that also kind of helps me let owners know, like, hey, your maintenance routine is great, A++, keep it up. Or like, hey, there's things we need to kind of work on, because any sort of problem with the water quality is going to cause stress in the fish, which is going to depress their immune system. And kind of regardless of what is going on with them, that's not good for them and their health.
And is that what I did?
No, you got an A++, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're not just saying that because we're on camera.
No. No, I have the report results to back that up. Yeah. And so the water quality is kind of a big part. And then the next part is kind of what I think is the fun part, which is the physical exam. So what I do is I sedate almost all of the fish. If they're very, very sick, then we kind of have a conversation of, is it worth it to do this additional stress? But for the most part, everyone gets a sedated physical exam. And that's just because that's less stressful for them, less stressful for me, less stressful for the owners. And so then I can do skin scrapes, gill clips, I can do the ultrasound. So essentially, like you were saying, looking at like the outside of the fish and the inside of the fish.
And we recorded video of you showing us Jerome on the inside as Jerome was sedated in your red laboratory exam tank.
Yes.
And what is it we're looking at? This is his beating heart?
Yes. Yeah. So I kind of what they teach you, let me back up. What they teach you in vet school is to do everything the same way every time, so that you are more likely to see things that are abnormal and not miss kind of the structures that you need to check every time. So I always start with the heart. One, because it's like kind of more towards the front of the fish. And two, it's also a fun thing for owners to see because it's pretty recognizable. Like, oh, that beating thing is the heart. Yeah. It might not look necessarily quite the same as like our hearts or what we're used to seeing, but it's still pretty recognizable. So I start there and then I move, basically from like nose to tail and kind of take a look at the other structures inside the fish.
And in your fancy microscope, what are we looking for?
So that we're looking for a couple different things, mostly parasites. They're pretty easy to spot because they are moving around, so they can be pretty fast under the microscope. And so we'll look for that. There are some other diseases that can present on like the skin scrapes and that sort of stuff. So if we see them, that's nice. But for the most part, we're looking for parasites. The gill clip is a little bit different. We're not only looking for parasites, but we're also looking at the structure of the gills themselves. It's really cool. I guess it's equivalent to maybe taking a look at like someone's lung, just taking a little piece and taking a look at that, because you can get some changes in the gills if there's water quality issues too, especially chronic water quality issues. So that can also be another piece of information to give to owners about like, hey, maybe your water quality looks okay today, but we're seeing these changes that indicate that maybe that hasn't been true in the past.
So just out of curiosity, you did not sedate Lily, who's normally bouncing off the walls, puppy here, right?
No, I was not here for Lily today.
Boy, did we luck out. She's
Yes.
all chill.
She's a chill baby.
I asked you when I first met you, kind of some crazy questions, but I want to ask you again.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like one of these things that pops in my head that people go like, you're such a crazy idiot. Do you eat sushi?
I really love sushi. Yeah, I think it's probably the second most common question I get asked is, do you still eat fish? And the answer is, yes, I do. I like to joke, though, that I don't eat my patients. I only practice essentially with pet fish, so I don't eat any of those guys. Yeah, but I still like sushi. I still like salmon. I will say octopus is the one that I have tried where I did feel like I was eating a pet, essentially, so I avoid octopus now.
Is that because they're super intelligent?
That is because they're super intelligent. I also worked with them when I was working at the reef, and they're very personable, I would say. Like, they'll reach out with their little tentacles and just kind of like touch you and like, kind of get to know you type of thing. So yeah, they just have like a nice personality. They can kind of interact with you a little bit more physically than a lot of our fish friends can.
I sometimes see my friends look at me and like I'm kind of crazy, which is not that unusual. But when I'm around the koi pond, I feel like I'm getting extra years added to my life because it's such a cool experience to wake up, go out with a cup of coffee and bond with the animals, with the fish.
Yeah.
And you, Lily, you don't eat them all.
Yes.
Please don't eat the fish. And what I noticed though is, they can't understand that like I really am bonded to them. Mm-hmm. We name them. They have distinct personalities.
Yes.
Do fish feel?
So, like emotionally, you mean?
Anyway,
or like
I don't know.
Yeah. So, it was kind of funny. We were talking. Max and I were talking a little bit earlier about do fish feel pain? Because that has been something that was debated in the past. And so the conclusion right now is that yes, fish feel pain, which kind of seems to me it seems a little bit obvious. Maybe because sometimes I have to do painful things to them, so I do give them pain medication so they don't feel pain. Because I've seen what can happen when they, are not like, blocked or anything like that. And they react. As far as fish consciousness, that's a interesting and difficult to answer question. There's research that has been going on with a few different species. I think goldfish is one of the ones about like, can they count? Can they recognize shapes and that sort of stuff? I think just sort of anecdotally, and I think a lot of fish owners would agree with me, like, yeah, we see our fish and we see how they interact, and they do have like their own personalities and some level of intelligence. Are they going to take over the world? Probably not.
No, but we know that superhuman AI will.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They'll probably kill off the koi after they kill us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me ask you something. So, I honestly want to cry when this happens. So when I hear these stories, we're coming up on the anniversary of the Altadena and Palisades fires that happened in California.
Yeah.
How did that affect koi fish?
Yeah, so that is, it's very difficult to evacuate your fish in case of emergencies, especially your koi fish. I think if you're someone with like a single beta fish or a single goldfish, that is much easier to do. But essentially the limitation with them is that they have to travel in water And because they're constantly metabolizing, using up oxygen and then producing their own urea, that sort of stuff, like you have to worry about filtration, you have to worry about oxygenation. If they are like a tropical species, you have to worry about taking a heater with them. So unfortunately, realistically, what ends up happening is that people can't evacuate with their koi, especially for the fires where they come up so suddenly. And it's like, even if you did have a plan, maybe now you don't have time to implement that plan. So there are some things you can do to try and protect your pond as much as possible. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, they had to leave their fish behind because.
And what happened to them?
And then a lot of them unfortunately died, which is really sad. But you do see some videos and you do hear stories of people where they go back and there are still some survivors. There are some that kind of joke. They're like the cockroaches of the pond where they'll survive anything, which is good. But, at the end of the day, it's just so sad because you have these bonds with these fish and you might have had them for 20, 30 years and all of a sudden they're gone. So it's just heartbreaking. Part of it too, kind of circling back a little bit to the fires and how difficult it is to transport your fish, like to take them to the vet, you would have to do the same sort of thing a lot of the times. Like you have to bring in the water, you have to bring in extra water because if the vet adds medication to the water, then they're going to need clean water to go back in afterwards. So you're already taking like 2 big buckets, essentially, depending on what size your fish is. And then you have the stress of travel, like maybe you live far away from your veterinarian, and then once you get there, it's like more stress and everything like that. And then you got to take the fish back and then you got to make sure that the water that they're in the bucket now matches their home water so that you don't shock them going back into the pond. So it's so stressful. And I think that's where, it's really nice to be able to be a mobile veterinarian and be able to bring the vet to the fish instead of the other way around. Less stress for everybody.
No doubt. And I will tell you, like by the time I reached out to you, I was so frustrated and depressed. I honestly was just banging my head up against the wall because I'm sitting here using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And it's about 90%, right? Maybe. Yeah. And then I would check it with our pond guy and then I'd call our local koi shop. Uh-huh. And what is Sunland Water Gardens?
That is one of the local ones, yeah. Uh-huh.
And it, like everybody said, they'll know. And I would drive water out to them to have it examined. Yeah. Uh-huh. And they're like, yeah, your water's fine. I'm like, no, it can't be. There's got to be something wrong. They're dying. And, it was really awful. I mean, genuinely, it was like really depressing because I thought I had made myself a good koi keeper.
Yes.
And I saw myself failing at this. And it was just devastating.
It is, yeah. I think a lot of my fish owners kind of go through something similar, I will say. So you're not alone. And I try to say, like, don't feel guilty about things that, you just didn't know. And I will say that it's pretty common to, like, consult the internet, consult ChatGPT. And a big part of the problem is that there's a lot of information out there and not all of it is correct and not all of it's good information.
Well, I think what I learned from you is that a lot of the products that are out there, you said there's some very useful products. You just recommended one that would stimulate the appetite in one of the, struggling fish right now. He's really, I shouldn't say struggling. He's like a whole new fish. He's on his way back.
Yes.
And this is Jerome, who's like the coolest koi we've ever had.
Yes.
And he's, you said it was garlic granules?
Garlic Guard? Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Garlic Guard.
What we found is that garlic is like an immune booster for fish. So you can always do raw garlic, but that's kind of a pain because then you got to do it. So there is this product called Garlic Guard, which is essentially like a liquid version of garlic. And so you can soak the pellets in that, feed them to the fish, and that kind of helps stimulate their appetite.
So that's a useful tool.
That's a useful tool.
But I showed you what must be $2,000 worth of crap that I bought.
It was a lot.
Thinking I was doing the right thing with it all, mainly listening to others who either had koi, have koi, or calling around to the experts. And, oh yeah, you need to buy this. And you're like, oh my God, it's $300. And then, you're stocking up on it. So now it's $600. And really you walked in and said, yeah, that's not going to help. And that's not going to, that won't help either. Yeah. It's all really marketed to humans rather than like to make us feel good that we're doing something, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of products out there too that I think if you put them in your pond, they're not going to hurt anything. They probably won't help anything. And so in my opinion, we can put your money to better use, your money and your time to better use. And then there's some products out there which will absolutely do something, but dosing can be part of the issue. They can have narrow safety ranges. And so sometimes, you can get fish deaths just from issues with the dosing. And then the other thing too is that I think a lot of the times people assume based on what they research or what they talk to other people about, like, oh, this must be the problem, therefore this product will treat it. Well, that's not the problem. So the product would treat that problem. But since that's not what the issue is, you're wasting your money, basically.
And it's so hard for someone like me that, I think I'm informed, right?
I would agree.
And then I'm looking at a fish through water that I have no tools to really see other than what may be physically obvious wrong, like fin rot and
and some pretty big lesions too. I would say it's really hard to pick up on subtle lesions unless you really know what you're looking for, which, that's where the vet training for me comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm new to terms like flashing and bottom sitting and things like that are characteristics of behavior of fish where they either sit on the bottom and that's not right.
Right.
Or they rub themselves up on rocks or the bottom. That's called flashing, which also says something's not right.
Yes.
So, I mean, I thought I sort of was on my stronger part of my learning curve, but it turns out I really know nothing. And I want to thank you for making me know a lot more and also saving Jerome. It's important. Let me just grab you back at the basics here. Explain because I think I remember being at that Sunland Water Gardens and I was FaceTiming my mother-in-law. And I said, oh, look at these. And she, instead of seeing the fish, she saw the price tag.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
So explain, what are koi fish and how much do they cost in range?
They can get crazy. And I'll share at the end the most expensive fish that I have worked on. But essentially, koi are just really fancy carp. They were originally domesticated in China hundreds of years ago. And like when you look at the carp, it's not a very pretty fish, but you look at a koi and what we've bred them to nowadays, they come in a variety of color patterns. They're very beautiful fish. And so really they're a joy to look at.
Oh my God, they're so calming.
Yes.
It's like there is no app a chill out app of any sort that can do better than there. I mean, there is just something magically chill about watching.
There is something very relaxing about the movement.
Yeah.
I think, if I remember correctly, someone did a small research study about just the patterns of the movements in fish, and they found that it truly does have a calming effect on people. And so one of the things they kind of recommended was if you're in a doctor's office, it might be a good idea to have a fish tank, because then it'll help people kind of relax while they're waiting for their doctor's appointment.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So talk about prices.
Prices. Okay, so you can really get a range of you can get a koi for a couple of bucks, all the way up to tens of thousands of dollars, and probably more if you really kind of get to that peak, value in the koi. So
what's the call that comes to you? Is it these people that have spent $10,000+ and they're like, oh, Dr. Dover, I need you right away? What?
A little bit. Sometimes I think the people that are most anxious are just the ones that are most bonded to their fish. So it can be just, they don't even know how much the fish costs. They're like, I just moved into this house and I've had these koi for 6 months, and this is a real case scenario. A bear came into their pond and really damaged a few of their koi, and so they were very distraught. But they were like, we have no idea how much fish costs, but this is an emergency. We need to get you out right away, type of thing. But as far as the high dollar koi, for me, I think the one that I know for sure the price, it was $33,000.
Oh my God.
Like that. And then I asked them to please stop telling me how much the fish cost, because I was like, this makes me nervous. I don't want to know. Yeah. But it really kind of just depends a little bit on what the owners are looking for to as far as what they want to get out of their koi pond. Some of them, it is about a specific type of koi, or about I want to go out to Japan and pick out the koi myself, that sort of stuff, and have that, brought back to my pond.
That's some rich bitch stuff going on, right?
It gets really crazy. Yeah. So I think what I tell most of my owners is it doesn't, to me, I don't really care where your fish comes from, right? I just want to make your fish healthy. But if you're looking for kind of creating that human animal bond with them, it doesn't really matter what the price tag is on the koi. They're going to make that bond with you regardless. So you can go down to your local fish store and pick up a koi for a couple bucks. It'll be fine. Yeah. If you're looking for something
I don't know
fancy,
where you're shopping, but I don't see koi for a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So how long do these fish live?
So there is what I consider it a myth, but kind of the story goes that they can live to like 100 to 200 years old. Yeah, I have never seen like proof of that, but if I can get the koi to 40 years old, I'm pretty happy. The oldest one that I know for sure, they were like, it was born in the pond, on this year and that sort of stuff, was 38 years old. So that was pretty good. Yeah.
So you saw that we have about 7 fry, and that means baby koi, right?
Yes.
When are they? So they're now like 3 inches long, 4 inches maybe on the largest one?
Yeah.
When are they going to be like a foot long?
So a lot of that kind of depends on like the diet that you're feeding them, the water quality, husbandry, that sort of stuff. Probably in the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So keep feeding them chocolate ice cream, right?
Exactly. Yeah. High protein, they could use it.
Alrighty. I think Max, our producer, has developed a koi quiz for us.
Okay.
A koi game.
Uh-oh.
All right, Dr. Dover, time to test your aquatic smarts with a little game that we call Fish or Fiction.
Fish or fiction. Okay.
So I'll describe a strange underwater creature or piece of marine tech, and you have to tell me if it's a fish, meaning if it's real, or fiction, meaning it's not. It's made up. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, first one. The immortal jellyfish. So I'll describe it. There's a species of jellyfish that can actually reverse its aging process. It reverts back to a younger stage of life over and over again, essentially never dying of old age. Is that fish or fiction?
I'm pretty sure that's fish.
So it's true.
I think it's true. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Is that correct? Hopefully.
All right, let's see. You're right.
Yes.
It is
Vets love it when
I
they're
can't
right,
even say the
so.
name. It's the Turritopsis Dournil jellyfish that can biologically reset itself. That is incredible.
Yes.
So if we eat those, we'll never die? Is that what we should do?
Maybe someone should put some money into that, right? fund the research and we'll see what happens.
Ready for number 2?
Yes.
All right. Oh, Lily, you want to help? Robo Clownfish. It is a team of engineers in Japan has built robotic clownfish that swim along real fish to study their social behavior, and the fish don't seem to notice a difference. Is that fish or fiction?
I am not sure about this specific one, but I have read about people developing fish robots, so I'm going to take a guess and say fish.
Did you hear that, Lily? Is she right? Fish is correct.
Yay!
Real research project. Robotic fish have been used to study schooling and behavior in several labs. Number 3, electric eel Wi-Fi. In the Amazon, scientists discovered the electric eels can generate enough voltage to power small transmitters that send Wi-Fi signals for tracking migration. Is that fish, meaning true, or fiction, meaning false?
Ooh, this one I have no idea. I guess I'll say fiction.
You're batting 3 for 3.
Yay!
You're batting 3 for 3. The answer is fiction, yes. While electric eels can deliver up to 600 volts, did you hear that, Lily? No one using them to power Wi-Fi is on record. All right, number 4, the vampire squid from hell. All right, despite its terrifying name, the deep sea squid doesn't actually suck blood. It eats marine snow, basically ocean detritus, whatever that is. Its Latin name literally translates to vampire squid from hell. Is this fish or fiction?
Okay, I'm gonna have to reach way back to my undergraduate days because I did take a class on deep sea biology. And so the vampire squid, or whatever that is real, and marine snow is real. And I'm trying to remember if that's what it eats or not. I feel like we'll say fish. We'll say fish, but now I'm on the fence.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna say fiction.
Are you sure?
Trust my gut? Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say fish.
All right,
Yeah.
You're right.
Yay!
100% real. And a word I
Right,
cannot
with a little
pronounce, just describing this breed. Some of the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean is where they live, and yes, it's absolutely true. All right, final one.
Okay.
Number 5, BubbleNet 3000. Marine biologists created an underwater drone that uses sound waves and bubbles to herd fish toward nets, mimicking the hunting technique of humpback whales. Is this fish or fiction?
That's another one where I haven't heard of it, but the bubble hunting technique by whales is a real thing. Yeah, so I'll say fish.
This is the only one you missed.
Really? Oh, that's
It's
all right.
fiction. Humpbacks really do bubble net feed,
Yes.
but no
one's
one's
invented
made
that
a working bubble net
technology yet.
3000 yet.
Oh, well, they've got
This is
a
something
name
you
all picked out and ready to go.
I think Max made that name up, but I bet you could build it if we needed it.
100%, yeah. That'd probably help me out with some of these fish tanks where it's really hard to catch the fish. Just get some bubbles out of them. Woo! Go where I need them to go.
Dr. Dover, thank you for playing our game. Thank you for sharing what is undoubtedly the most interesting career I have found of anyone. When you look at like crazy interesting jobs on the planet, you hold the title here. I mean, it's really a magical thing that you do. And I'm fascinated with it. I hope you inspire other people to run down this path and really, pursue it.
Yeah, I think we need more fish vets. So, go get them.
Let's net them in.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Let's net them in.
Let's help them head downstream.
Yes. Let's make more aficionados out there.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond Connected. It is getbeyondconnected.com. That's where you'll find us. And of course, if you're not already getting my newsletter, it's so easy to get it. Just go online to cyberguy.com/subscribe. And that is where Dr. Dover found that it's free. She also gets alerts on anything related to your privacy and security that we see bubbling up that you should be aware of, and really cool tips about fish, Vizslas, and your iPhone. You'll find it all right there. Thank you.
Thank you.